Hi, Eddie. Good afternoon. Thank you for being here today.
Hi, Maya. My pleasure.
How are you doing today?
Um, I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. How are you doing?
That's good. I'm also doing well. I'm excited
All
to
right.
finally be interviewing you. We have gone through the whole list of team members, and now it's your turn. So I'm excited to get to know you a little bit more outside of your role, and a little bit more about like your journey, the same way our participants will with this video. So again, thank you for
All right.
being here.
My pleasure.
So I know we said your name, but can you just like introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more about your role with OnTrack?
Sure. So my full name is Edward Lopez. I am the registered nurse for the OnTrack program at Flushing, at the Flushing Clinic. Um, I have been a nurse for 11 years. 10 of those years have been in psychiatry. Um, so I'm happy to be part of this program.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Um, so can you, before I get to the question of what inspired you to get into this line of work, I'd like to just ask you really quick, do you find the work that you do here with the Flushing On Track New York team fulfilling? And if so, like what fulfills you about it?
Yes, I feel that people with mental health problems, they need a lot of support, and this is what OnTrack offers. I mean, no other program offers what we offer, and that's why when they came to me with the opportunity to join this program, I I was very excited and I accepted right away because I believe yeah, that's a key component in the recovery of patients. You know, they need a lot of support, and not everyone has that support. So uh, yeah, that it's just very makes me happy to be part of such program.
Okay, that's great to hear. I'm happy to know that you feel fulfilled by this work. Everyone else on the team feels fulfilled by their work. So it's good that like all of us feel the same way. I think we're like I think we're a really strong team. Not to like brag about us, but we're pretty awesome. And I think part of
Yes, we are.
it right it is feeling fulfilled from our work, and then it like helps us refuel and come back because we know that what we're doing is like helping other people, like you said. So I definitely appreciate that answer. So can you tell us a little bit about what inspired you to get into this line of work? You said you've been doing it for about like 10 years. So what inspired that?
Right. So I became a nurse. The whole thing started one time that my grandmother was in the hospital, and I went to see her, and like there were really great nurses taking care of her, and I started to see what they were doing, how they were taking care of my grandma, and that's what made me think about maybe becoming a nurse. And so I started looking into it, and uh, and I joined. I was doing I was a graphic arts major, and almost completed an associate degree, and I just switched my major to nursing and went for it and and got it.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Thank you. It's interesting to hear how much family has played a role in so many of our team members, like inspiration for like wanting to get into this work. And our grandmas are like really precious. Um,
yeah,
that I know that Anna spoke about in her interview, like her grandma influencing her, and so you also were like influenced by the help that your grandma received, and like you wanted to pay it forward. And I think that's really commendable, and I respect that. So that's dope.
yeah.
Um, and then you kind of answered the next question a little bit, which is what was the journey like getting to this point? So you said you were doing graphic arts first, right? And then you got
Right.
into this.
Into nursing, and then while I was in nursing school, um, I did my rotation in psychiatry at Maimonides Hospital, and right away I knew that I wanted to be, you know, a psych nurse. I said, that's from all the fields, that like that's the one I like the most. So, and that's how when I started working in medicine, um, at the hospital where I work, and then after a year I transferred to psychiatry, and that's where I've been this whole time.
That's really cool.
Yep.
Um, and it's also interesting because like I have been hospitalized before, and I was kind of inspired from some of the more helpful nurses. Not all of them were very helpful, but the ones who are like who find that fulfillment in doing that work, you can tell because it comes out in like how they interact with like the patients and
Right.
stuff. So I think that's really interesting that like you're on the other side of the table from where I was, and we both still found inspiration in like that kind of setting. So
Yeah.
that's really cool. Thank you for sharing that part of your journey with us. So our next question is a little bit more personal, and just asking like, what have your experiences with mental health in your own personal life look like? And this is completely up to you how much you want to share and what you want to share. Some people kind of talk about their own mental health experiences. Some have talked about like what they've seen and witnessed in family members and what they've tried to support in like friends. So you can choose whatever you'd like to talk about, but just wondering like, what has that been like in your personal life?
Well, my family, I do have a family member with schizophrenia in Colombia, um, and that. But see, it's different over there. They don't have the same kind of support that they have in America, so it's just way different. But luckily, I mean, she's stable now. You know, the family, like her family, is taking care of her, and so overall, she's doing well. Um, as far as my own, uh, I mean, when I was in high school, I believe, yeah, I almost had a panic attack. I was worrying too much about a project that I don't know. I don't know why I was worrying so much about it. It was something I couldn't do at the moment, and I became very anxious and very anxious, and I that night I couldn't sleep, and then the next morning I just I felt like you know that shouldn't have happened, and I just kept thinking like you know I need to deal with stress better, um, and so ever since I've been trying not to stress about you know anything so much, because it didn't feel very good, you know, feeling that anxious and you know over really nothing that was you know that important. You know what I mean? What's the worst that could happen? You know what I mean? Like it's just a project. Um, so yeah, I mean, ever since I try not to stress too much about anything. You know.
Yeah. Okay. Um, well, thank you for sharing that. Um, I I know that we're a very diverse team of like different people with different backgrounds and experiences. So I'm like happy that you have not had like any like crises or any like major happenings. Like that's a blessing. Like that the worst was
Yes.
that you were just like really stressed out. But that's a good segue into like the next question, which is what do you do to make sure that your mental health is in as good of a standing as you can have it, especially considering the work you do? um, just like what kind of things do you do to take care of yourself, to show up as your best self and to feel like your best self?
Right. So I mean, in general, I'm a very optimistic person, and I always try to find the good side of everything. So um, I think sleep is very important. I find that you know that because the days that I don't sleep that well, you know, I feel it like my mood feels it. But so that's very important. Exercise, I also feel that it helps you, you know, relieve anxiety and it helps you feel more energetic. Um, and then uh, yeah, like I said, like trying to find the good side of everything, laughing a lot, joking around a lot. I'm always joking around with people and, you know, trying to laugh. Um, And yeah, and lately it's just playing playing with my son. You know, gives me a lot of joy.
Good one. I love that. You said sleep, and I felt that. Sleep is so important, and it's so crazy. Like, as kids,
Yeah,
we undervalue it. Like, I want to stay up, I want to know what y'all are doing. And then, like, as an adult, you have to kind of like sometimes, I think, depending on like how your life goes, but sometimes you
right.
have to force yourself to sleep, or sometimes you have to try to make sure you're getting enough sleep. And sleep plays such a role, like an integral role in just making sure like you're healthy. It gives you the time to like refuel, reset, making sure you eat
Absolutely.
right, keeping yourself laughing, and playing with your son. That's so sweet. I love that. Um,
Yeah.
that's so sweet. I know like sometimes we get to see you in the staff meeting sometimes with him, and he's like he's so cute, and I can only just imagine how much joy you feel with him.
Thank you. Yeah, it's amazing. Like whenever he hugs you, it's you feel something that I like you've never felt before. It's just you feel that happy hormone like pumping through your veins. It's just it's amazing.
That's great.
Yeah.
Um, and that also rolls us into the next question of like, what do you do specifically to keep yourself laughing or smiling? I'm assuming definitely one of them is playing with your son. Like, even just talking about it is such a like contagious feelings. Like, oh, I love
Yeah.
that for you. But what are some things that you do intentionally to like keep yourself laughing and smiling?
uh, let's see. Uh, I mean, I don't know. I guess in nature, like I'm always, I'm always laughing. I'm always smiling. I'm always joking around, making fun of, in a good way, in a respectful way, making fun of my coworkers, my wife, my own son, and myself. I love making fun of myself.
It's a great
And
quality.
yeah, and like making other people laugh, it brings you joy. It brings me joy too. So it's like people who know me, they know I'm always in a good mood or laughing, joking around.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, besides what you said, about my son, yeah, that's that's pretty much it, I guess.
But that's good. That's good that you have like this internal source of happiness and like um comedic, like you have that comedic element to you that like you said you make other people laugh, and it like returns it back to you. So you also feel that happiness and that joy and just like having that moment of laughing with somebody else. That's a really good feeling, and I'm glad that you're one of, I wish I was more like that. I think I make people laugh because I'm just like I'm silly. I'm not intentionally funny. Like I'm not good at jokes, but I just do silly stuff.
Silly, yeah, silliness works. I'm silly too. I'm very, I'm not the funniest guy that you ever meet, but yeah, silliness.
And you're able to laugh at yourself, and that's such a like undervalued thing too. Sometimes I think there's a lot of there's enough serious people in the world who take things so seriously they don't know how to laugh and joke about.
Exactly, exactly. I
Cool.
agree.
um so that brings us to our last question, and this one is just asking you to kind of like take into stock this year, which I know has been not the easiest year. It has not been the nicest year to us. It's been pretty rough out there.
I
But
know.
that being said, what is one happy memory you think you will take with you from this year into the future? Or what's one thing that you think you can be grateful for from this year moving into the future?
I mean, yeah, this has been a really tough year with all this pandemic and all the either friends or relatives that we've lost. So it's been very. So I mean, I think just seeing the reaction of like people working together to overcome this, like what I saw at the hospital, even though it was, a lot of people dying and, a lot of tragedy and sadness, but uh, like, yeah, seeing everyone working together and just trying to make it through this was like it's I don't know, like you see the humanity in all of us, and I don't know, it was just out of, everything that happened, that like that was a good thing, that it made us feel that we need each other, that we need to be together in order to overcome problems, and especially something like that. um and I mean, luckily, I also like being able to work and help others, like go, many people couldn't, lose their jobs or couldn't go to work. In my case, going to work every day and helping others, and get better, and being there in the front lines, that also kept me going, and made me feel good. um and then finally, I guess the last thing is, uh, my wife being pregnant again, recently. So that's very good news.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Congratulations again.
Thank you. Thank you.
Um, I think those are all really wonderful answers. And you did exactly what I'm asking of you, like to take stock of just like what good, because it's so easy to point out the bad. It's so easy. I know, like,
Yeah.
to think of the things that we've lost, the people that we've lost, the changes that we're experiencing, especially in New York. Like everything is so weird here and different.
Yeah.
Um, but that's kind of been a common theme, like being grateful to still have our jobs, being grateful to have a place to come and like put good into the world when there's so much negativity happening. And I
Right.
completely agree with you on this idea of um, getting to see the humanity. Uh, I think with everything, like the political climate as well, that's annoying as well.
Yeah.
Um, there's just so much negativity and hate and like conflict. But with all of that being put to the side and just being able to come and say, like, as a person, from one person to another person, like, I want to do good and I want to put some good back into the world and pour some like good vibes back into the world. Good vibes are so necessary and they're so needed. And I think people like you who bring them and want to share them, you guys like deserve the biggest round of applause. And I know that you work not only with us, but you work in another kind of what is the word, like you work in another environment as well in addition to the
Hmm.
clinic. So I know, like, I definitely commend you for doing that and for being out there and kind of being like front lines. I think that's awesome and it's amazing and it's like really selfless work. And I don't know that you guys get thanked enough for that. But I definitely do thank you for all of the work that you've done with other people and our participants, and for just like being yourself. You're always so like, I don't think I've ever seen you in a bad mood. And I know that with staff
Thank
wellness
you.
plans, you were like, if you're in a bad mood, it's probably because you're like hungry. You just need some food or something.
That's right. That's right.
Great that like you're just like a ray of sunshine, and I love that. And
Oh, thank you.
you're welcome. Um,
Hmm.
thank you for answering that question and for kind of like sharing all of these things about you that people don't necessarily get to see when they're working with you in like a professional setting. So I just, thank you so much for your time today. Thank you for your honesty, your vulnerability, and for your joy, because it's great. Like I was not in the greatest of moods prior to this, and now I'm like gonna leave just feeling really great. So thank you.
Oh, great. Thank you. It's
Uh,
good to see you smile.
thank you, thank you. So I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I will talk to you soon. Your video will be going up this
All right.
Friday. Um,
Awesome.
yeah, thank you.
All right. Thank you too, Maya, for making this happen and for all you do
Of course.
for us. You're you're like, I don't know, you're very special, and you make the team very special.
Oh, thank you so much. I try. I try.
And you do an excellent job at it. So keep
Thank
it
you.
up.
I will. I appreciate that. And I hope you take care.
All right. You too. Have a good day.
You too.